2.7 Quantity supplied need not equal quantity demanded. In the supply and demand model, the quantity supplied does not necessarily equal the quantity demanded because of the way we defined these two concepts. We defined the quantity supplied as the amount firms want to sell at a given price, holding constant other factors that affect the supply, such as the price of inputs. We defined the quantity demanded as the quantity that consumers want to buy at a given price if other factors that affect demand are held constant. The quantity that firms want to sell and the quantity that consumers want to buy at a given price need not equal the actual quantity that is bought and sold. We could have defined the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded so that they must be equal. If we had defined the quantity supplied as the amount firms actually sell at a given price and the quantity demanded as the amount consumers actually buy, supply would have to equal demand in all markets because we defined the quantity demanded and the quantity supplied as the same quantity. It is worth emphasizing this distinction because politicians, pundits, and the press are so often confused on this point. Someone insisting that demand must equal supply must be defining demand and supply as the actual quantities sold, because we define the quantities supplied and demanded in terms of people's wants and actual quantities bought and sold. The statement that supply equals demand is a theory, not merely a definition. According to our theory, the quantity supplied equals the quantity demanded at the intersection of the supply and demand curves if the government does not intervene. However, not all government interventions prevent markets from clearing, equilibrating, restarting the sentence. However, not all government interventions prevent markets from clearing, equilibrating the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded. For example, as we've seen, a government tax affects the equilibrium by shifting the supply curve or demand curve of a good, but does not cause a gap between the quantity demanded and the quantity supplied. However, some government policies do more than merely shift the supply curve or demand curve. For example, governments may directly control the prices of some products. For example, New York City limits the price of rent that landlords can charge for an apartment if the price a government sets for a product differs from the market clearing price. Either excess supply or excess demand results. We illustrate this result with two types of price control programs. The government may set a price ceiling at P bar so that the price at which goods are sold may be no higher than P bar. When the government sets a price floor at P bar, the price at which goods are sold may not fall below P bar. We can study the effects of such regulations using the supply and demand model. Despite the lack of equality between quantity supplied and the quantity demanded, the supply and demand model is useful in analyzing price controls because it predicts the excess demand or excess supply that is observed.